Ciboney has a new boss in town, and he's planning a major shake-up and looking to take Ciboney to an altogether new level and to change the whole look of the company and the energy sector as well, I might add. So joining me now to discuss Ciboney's massive plans for growth, we have Ciboney's Group Executive Chairman, Nigel Davy. Hello, good evening, Nigel, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Al, and how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Nigel. For those who don't know too much about you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you intend to do with Ciboney?
Well, first, I simply describe myself as an entrepreneur and energy professional. And I've been doing this for over 35 years. I've worked in developing and implementing energy infrastructure projects in the US, Jamaica, and Central America. Some of our local projects here in Jamaica include, of course, Jamaica Brothers Cogeneration Plant, which I developed, constructed, and operated back in 1997. Jamaica Brothers Ethanol Plant, which I built for the Jamaica Brothers Group around 2004. The West Kingston Power Plant, which is owned by Jamaica Energy Partners, that was done in 2012. And of course, more recently, we have designed, built a PV solar project for the Norman International Airport. That was a 2 megawatt PV solar project at the Sangster International Airport. We have done phase 2 of that project, which was 2.2 megawatts of PV solar. And we are now about to embark on phase 3 via a joint venture with Wigton Wind Farm Limited. Via that same joint venture, we are currently pursuing a project with the National Irrigation Commission in St. Elizabeth, which is another solar project with battery energy storage provided by Huawei. And of course, we have done several other microturbine cogeneration projects, including at the Hilton Hotel, the Couples Resort, Lifespan Water, the Everglades Farm, among others. So we have done and are doing quite a bit of energy projects in Jamaica.
Yes, a rich background there, Nigel. Give us a brief rundown of Ciboney, and we hear it referred to as a shell company. What does that mean exactly?
Well, essentially, Ciboney had little or no assets when we acquired it. It was listed on Jamaica Stock Exchange. It was indeed a strategic acquisition for us. If you know the history of Ciboney, I believe they were among the first all-inclusive resorts in Jamaica.
Yes, I recall.
Yes, in fact, Boscobel Beach Hotel, now Beaches Boscobel,
yes,
was owned by Ciboney back in the days. But in recent times, well, not in recent times, but FinSAC took over their assets during the financial crisis in the 90s. And more recently, Wilshire, via IEC Energy Company, acquired the company from FinSAC in June of 2023. So shell company, meaning it has no, let me say, tangible assets. Mm-hmm. But we believe it was a strategic acquisition for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so where does the company stand today? I see my good friend Wayne Ray's joined your board, but where does the company stand today?
Yes, indeed. Wayne is a very good friend, and Wayne is the chairman of our Finance and Investment Committee, working very hard to help us to transform.
You always work hard.
Yeah, so coming out of our AGM in December, the shareholders voted to, among other things, to change the name of the company to Innovative Energy Group, IEG. And of course, the name aligns better with the new thrust and vision of the company, energy and innovation.
Yes. So what was the last asset sold by the company?
I know that Ciboney owned some properties down in Westmoreland, and that was the last major transaction through the company.
Okay. How much does it take to run the company each year, and how do you intend to transform it? Do you have a number, what you want to inject capital-wise into the company, the new venture?
Well, Ciboney, as you well know, had no active business ongoing.
Yes.
The company which I currently own prior to Ciboney is Innovative Energy Company Limited, DBA IECSPI Limited, and that is an EPC contracting company, and I would describe ourselves as being vertically integrated. So we develop, currently design, and install energy infrastructure projects. We continue that trend, and we're looking to have Ciboney acquire my local company. And of course, that will require capital. Among other things, we'll be pursuing other energy infrastructure projects. We have quite a bit of projects in the pipeline. We have several transactions that we're looking at that we intend to pursue. Of course, your listeners and yourself might be aware of the recently issued request for proposal by the Generation Procurement Entity, the GPE.
Yes.
We expect to bid on that project, at least.
That's a 100 megawatt project, right?
Well, they're asking for 100 megawatt of renewable energy.
Yes.
In bites of between 5, 10, and up to 50 megawatts.
Right.
If you want to participate in a part of that, let me say, segment, if you will, between 5 and 50 megawatts.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about Innovative Energy Group. I mean, the country needs a new energy thrust, if you pardon the pun there, in the sense that, I mean, we spend a lot of money importing energy, and we're now looking at more alternatives. We're looking at green solutions. We're looking at other sources of energy, and we're taking a good look at renewables. So tell me a little bit about where Innovative Energy Group stands with all this.
Okay, so we currently pursue combined cooling, heat, and power projects, which are classified cogeneration projects. That's what our core has been until, I would say, 5 years ago, where we ventured into the RE space, which is primarily the photovoltaic solar space. We have done quite well in that area thus far. I outlined a few of the projects which we had pursued, Manly, Sangster Airport projects, and those are relatively large projects for Jamaica and the region. We expect to scale up. There are a tremendous amount of opportunities in the industry or in Jamaica and the region, and we want to participate in transforming Jamaica and the regional economy, green economy, and we are properly positioned to do that. And we're going to be using Ciboney, formerly Ciboney, now Innovative Energy Group, to do just that.
Right. Have you identified any possible projects in the wider Caribbean? Have you got your eye on any particular projects?
We're looking at bidding on a couple of projects in, I don't want to name the country, but well, I could name one or two. We looked at Guyana.
Well, give us one.
We looked at Guyana, and we're looking at St. Kitts. So. Okay. But we are focused primarily in Jamaica at the moment because there are so much opportunities here to pursue, and we don't want to spread ourselves too thin initially. But we intend to really get involved in the wider Caribbean with transforming their economy, if you will, to the green economy using renewable energy.
Understood. Now tell our viewers, traditionally Ciboney stock is up and down like a yo-yo. You would know that over the years. What do you think you can bring to it to get that stock as a stock that people should have in their portfolio and be proud to have it and to see that stock grow and pay off good dividends?
Well, let me start at when we acquired Ciboney. Ciboney was trading at in the 55 cents range. Today, it is trading at $1.50. Clearly, this is based upon investor sentiments, the confidence investors have in our ability, if you will, to transform this business, and we intend to do that. We're going to focus.
And in the group too, the Wiltshire Group as well, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Has there been a decision made on whether the new energy group will eventually take over the assets of Connected Company, Innovative Energy Company, and so forth, the subsidiaries?
Well, we want to close the first transaction, I would say, by end of this quarter.
Okay.
We are in discussion with other owners of energy assets, and we're looking seriously at getting deeper in the larger, let me say, an RE space, if you will.
Right. Now tell me, what will happen to the remaining Ciboney shares?
Well, the remaining Ciboney shares are actively being traded on the Jamaica Stock Exchange as we speak. The shareholders are enjoying, let me say, an uptick in the value of their shareholdings. those shares will remain on the market and will be traded as they are currently now. We hope that we have more investors in the near term based upon the vision that we have articulated for the company.
Right. So you're looking to at least 20 million US dollars in the first instance to execute capital intensive energy sector projects?
Absolutely. Based upon the transaction which we are pursuing, that's the first round of capital raise, if you will, based upon the transactions that we're looking at the moment.
Right. And what kind of feedback are you getting on that? Are you seeing considerable interest, or is there an uptick in interest, or what are you picking up out there?
We are seeing a lot of interest. Clearly, the market has been challenged over the past, I would say, a year, but we are seeing quite a bit of interest.
Yes. Well, let me put this to you. I mean, we know where the Jamaica stock is. You know, we see where the Jamaica stock market is now, but this is a altogether new kind of company, an energy company. Traditionally, we see financial sector players, you know, manufacturers, distributors, but energy. And does an education program need to take place here where we get people to invest in these sort of things? We've seen big energy companies, you know, we've seen the BPs, we've seen Total, we've seen companies all over the world. But here we have a Caribbean energy company. What could be done to get so people know more about, you know, energy and see it as something worthwhile to invest in? After all, we all need energy.
Yes, indeed, there needs to be some education. But I must tell you that currently we have seen a change in the acceptance of green energy. In the past, clearly people were stymied or potential, let me say, owners of energy asset were stymied because of the cost. The cost of renewable energy especially solar, has declined significantly over the past 5 years. Same thing applies to battery energy storage. So we're seeing people, potential clients, doing quite a bit of investment, or they are seeking knowledge. How can they get their home solarized, for example, their businesses solarized, for example, to reduce their energy costs? And people are very conscious also about essentially contributing to the green economy. They want to see our all-import bill reduced. So I would say, especially Jamaican consumers, they are in vogue as it relates to green energy, and people are really getting on board. We have seen that interest in the market. If you look today, for example, at Wigton Wind Farm, the quantum of shares that were traded on the stock exchange today, over 7 million. So people are in tune. Same thing with Ciboney. Look at the price, where it's coming from to where it is today. So people are learning, but we need to do more to educate the Jamaican consumer and, dare I say, the regional consumers.
I see. We've got a question here from Simon Johnson, and Simon is asking, can you give us an idea of the size of the company that Ciboney will purchase?
Without giving away too much, we would say the first transaction is going to be, you know, upwards of about US $10 million. And then we are looking at others, which is in the region of 20 to 30 million US dollars. So those are the two transactions that we're looking at the moment.
Now tell me, Nigel, have you thought about partnering with Wigton Wind Farm and being a much bigger entity? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we currently have a joint venture with Wigton, and just for full disclosure, I'm also a director over at Wigton. And just for full disclosure again, of course, we observe the corporate governance regarding a conflict of interest over at Wigton, but we collaborate. As you well know, Wigton was primarily a wind company. We are playing in the other RE space, which is primarily PV, solar, and battery energy storage. So we have the strategic alliance that we have with Wigton is mutually beneficial. So we want to deepen the relationship that we have with Wigton, and I know this is a mutual feel by both companies and board of directors.
Yes, I can recall the Jamaica Broilers ethanol project, and you mentioned earlier that you worked on that. Can you tell us a little bit about other projects you've worked on and that particular project at the time? Because you're
Sure.
bringing experience to this.
Absolutely. So our first project, and indicated earlier, our first project in Jamaica with the Jamaica Brawlers Group was their cogeneration plant, which I
Right.
developed and constructed back in 1997. And in 2004, we developed and constructed the Jamaica Brawlers ethanol plant. So we have been doing quite a bit of work with the Jamaica Brawlers Group for quite a while, and we still are.
I see. You're also going to be working with Huawei, and they're a very good company, as we well know. And you've got your eyes set on a battery-related project. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so we established last spring a strategic partnership with Huawei while we were visiting with them in China, and just in December last year, we executed a follow-up agreement with them to essentially market and sell their large-scale commercial industrial products, inverters, and utility-scale batteries. And we are actively doing that. In fact, the project which we are working on through the joint venture with Wigton in St. Elizabeth, the NI National Irrigation Commission, we are using Huawei products on that particular project. The Sangster International Airport project, phase 3, we are using the Huawei product. And we expect to use their product for a while to come. And I must add, they make good inverters and excellent battery energy storage system.
Right. Right. Now, tell me, how are you planning to raise the funds? What are we looking at here?
We'll be raising funds to finance our new ventures via a mix of vehicles, APO, private placement, and bonds. The ultimate method will be subject to advice, of course, from our financial partners, and of course, subject to board approval. And as I indicated earlier, our Wayne Ray, who you know very well, and the industry knows very well, who chairs our Finance and Investment Committee, of course, is guiding that process.
Right. So when do you anticipate the APO? When could we look for that?
Well, we, as I indicated, we're not quite sure if it's going to be an APO, private placement, or bonds. We are still in discussion with our advisor or partners, and of course, all of this is subject to board approval. Suffice to say, the method of raising of the financing for the project for the company will be that deemed to be in the best interest of our shareholders.
Yes. Now you're going to be positioning the company to bid on the Jamaican government 100 megawatt project. Tell me a little bit about that and the role of renewable energy for the country, for Jamaica.
Well, in essence, the government established a very ambitious target of 50% renewable energy by 2030.
Yes.
I think the government will attain that more realistically around 2037.
Yes.
This 100 megawatt RFP is a bold move by the government, and we intend to participate by bidding on a tranche of that 100 megawatts.
So you'll be looking for just that chance to enter that?
To begin with, and of course, I expect that the government will be coming out with additional RFPs, and we want to be positioned to bid on additional renewable energy into the Jamaica, the national grid.
Okay. Tell me, with your considerable experience, can you give perhaps an overview of how you see the energy sector, not just in Jamaica, but even globally? Where are we going? Where do you see us going in the next, say, 10 to 20 years? You can start from Jamaica and then go down across the world.
Well, I will tell you,
seen a lot of changes in your career. So.
Absolutely. I mean, 10 years ago, you wouldn't, as a business, look at renewable energy because of the high cost then.
Yes.
Today, that has changed. And truth be told, because the cost have declined so much, especially PV solar and batteries, we believe that the PV solar RE will dominate the renewable energy thrust of Jamaica and the region, and I would hasten to say the world, because it is the least expensive, fastest to implement, and of course, the end price would be the best for consumers. Now, of course, we have wind, but wind is a tad more expensive because of the supply-demand issue. But I expect to see renewable energy dominate, let me say, utilities across the globe. And just think about it. We spend over $3 billion annually on imported fuel.
Yes, it's too
Much
high.
of that goes to generate power. The sun is our oil, and the cost to implement these renewable energy projects have declined substantially. So Jamaica is on the right path. The world is on the right path. We want to participate.
Okay, we have another question from Simon Johnson, and Simon's asking, why has Ciboney not provided the top 10 holdings? Is this related to the admin and legal changes that form a part of the transition?
Well, that information is out, and that information by now should be on our website. There are some issues with the transition at the company's office, not company's office, I'm sorry, at the Jamaica Stock Exchange with let me say, KPMG, who is our registrar and the seller of the assets of Ciboney, but that has been sorted out. That top 10 will be published. If it's not already published on our website, that will be out, and also on the JAC website.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Davy, for spending some time with us this evening and giving us an insight on what you intend to do with Ciboney and with the energy project and with IEG. And we look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure indeed, Al. All the best. You take care.
Bye now.